All right. Well, we're here at Johnny's Bar and Grill in Hollister, California. This is the Alaska bike. And today I'm going to show you why I live here and a little bit as to why I own this bar. This bar is very historic. Comes down to the 1937 biker riots in Hollister. I'm going to turn on the Insta here real quick. Hopefully that starts it recording. I don't know. Yeah, sure. Okay. So I'm going to show you how close we are from here to a really great ride. Here's the front of the bar, San Benito Street. I'm going to take you right through downtown Hollister. There's our Hollister sign right there. And we're just going to go right down the main drag. This is San Benito Street. This little town sits south of San Jose by about 45 miles-ish, give or take. The San Benito County backs up in between those mountains right there, which separate the 101 corridor from the next mountain range, which separates that from the ocean. So there's a mountain range in front of me and a mountain range back over here behind me. Those two mountain ranges give San Benito a little pocket valley that it can exist in, and we should have enough time here, hopefully before it rains, to take a little trip, and I'll show you one of the things that I really like about being here. Aside from this being a really cute town where everybody knows each other. Let this guy here. Thank you. So I will come up with more information on the town itself, as I don't have it right off the tip of my head right now. But Hollister harkens back to a gentleman who I think had served in the military. His ranch was somewhere near San Juan Bautista. There was a trade that went on, and this was the ranch of that General Hollister. I will find the information. I will present it in a more professional manner than just me talking off the top of my head, because I don't know everything. But I'll do some research and I'll get back to you on that.
Here's some history. The town of Hollister was founded on November 19, 1868 by William Wells Hollister on the grounds of the former Mexican land grant Rancho San Justo. At the time, Hollister was located within Monterey County, until San Benito County was formed by the California legislature in 1874 from portions of Monterey, Merced, and Santa Cruz counties.
As we go down San Benito Street, this street is part of the old Highway 25, which just goes south down in between this mountain range over here and another mountain range over there, which is going to narrow down into what's called the Cienega.
Cienega is a Spanish word that translates literally into 100 waters, or cien aguas. It is a term used in English into the American Southwest to describe a wetland system that is spring-fed and isolated. Cienegas are usually wet, marshy areas that are found at the base of a mountain, in a canyon, or on the edge of a grassland. They are alkaline, freshwater, spongy, wet meadows with shallow, gradient, permanently saturated soils in otherwise arid landscapes.
San Benito River travels down here as well, and this, I think, is just a perfect time to see this. It's the right time of year. We're at March 23rd, I think. March 23rd? 27th. March 27th, and everything is green, beautifully green. So, the San Benito High School over here, the home of the Hollister hay balers. only been out of town for, or at least the main drag of town, for about 4 minutes, 5 minutes. We're about a mile away from, 2 miles, about 2 miles away from the bar. It is going to start to rain. Hopefully I can get you underneath this cloud and out where it's pretty here in just a sec. But I just wanted to have this as a one shot, just so that you can see how close we are to a very significant and very beautiful ride. San Benito River down there. Hopefully my camera lens doesn't get all obfuscated with June. Sometimes they change their mind. This is the beginning of what I would call the Cienega Loop. Town is right back there. And here's where it starts to get real pretty. Right here at this little stop sign. Which reminds me, I gotta talk to that guy about that Jeep. It's cute. Anyway. Welcome to the Cienega Loop. I'm taking the adventure bike on this one in particular because there's a significant amount of potholes through here, and although I can totally do it on my Harley, no problem, it's just more comfortable when I do it on this bike. You'll see why. How beautiful and green this is. This is cow country out here. No shortage of grazing spots. Recreation area is down here. There's a off-road park in this area, as well as we're sort of in a roundabout way on our way to Blotto Park, which is the site of the 1937 Gypsy Tour, which started out the motorcycle history here in San Benito County, which is what attracted me to the area. This section of road between here and Coalinga, in here and Piscinas and Pinoche is just full of these beautiful little two-lane roads. Definitely farm country out here, so there's no shortage of patchwork and potholes and everything like that as the county struggles to take care of this much mileage of road. It's kind of an old patch, but it's beautiful out here. Well worth the trip. I'd advise caution around a lot of these corners because a lot of them are uneven, and then there's people coming from various different directions that are also trying to avoid the potholes themselves, and you may find yourself in your lane staring at the front end of a car who's trying to avoid a pothole. So extra caution around blind corners, but just have a look around you. I'm going to stand up for a little bit and give you the unobstructed view. Not a fan of the taxes and politics in this section of the country, that is California. But boy, is it hard to beat the weather and the views and the nature. I do feel privileged to be a member of this community, and do try to take advantage of the better parts of what it means to be out here in this section of the country. I enjoy this quite a bit. Hills State Vehicular Recreation Area. There's a lot of off-roading you can do out in that section. I should come back at some point and do a ride through in that area. This GS is a little heavy to take through some of their stuff, and I should probably get a lighter dirt bike for that. As I've been up there in my truck before, and they got a lot of fun trails through there. But definitely something you would want to take a lighter vehicle through. This is a little heavy vehicle to try to navigate some of that stuff with. You can do it. I just don't know how fun it would be. During the summer, this is going to be all dried out, golden, which if you're like me, a retired forest firefighter, just means that you just feel a little nervous around it. So I don't tend to enjoy the late summer golden hue of dry grasses as much as some other people do, because to me it just means fire. So I like this time of year the best, personally. Everything's nice and green. Really beautiful out here. You may notice I'm wearing climb gear. This is the same suit that I wore to Alaska. This works really well because it's waterproof, and I can also open and close these zippers whenever I need a little bit of air. Unless, of course, you find yourself stuck in some place that doesn't have any airflow and you're in direct sunlight, in which case you're going to overheat. However, in this environment, this is perfect. I'm wearing a thin layer of thermals down here under these. I'm just wearing a t-shirt and kind of I don't know, one of those Nike long sleeve shirts, that some kind of synthetic material that doesn't feel bad against your skin, wicks away moisture, keeps your air cooled enough and insulated enough to be just the right thing for what we're doing here today. The helmet that I'm using is a Sedici. I think it's the Harlar Strata 2. It's got built-in sunglasses, and I've kept to these because they're about $300 helmets, and they're pretty solid. Bluetooth's built into them. No complaints. Easy enough if you have a problem with it to go in any cycle gear across the country, which I did across country on my Harley, and was able to pop into a cycle gear when I had a problem with the helmet. Something busted on the side and the visor kept wanting to come off, and they were able to just R&R the helmet real quickly. The bike I'm riding is a BMW GS 1250. This is the Adventure, which is the 7.5 gallon tank, and it's the HP, which, I don't know, is their trophy version of that year in 2020. Love this bike. I've had a couple different motorcycles in my life, and by a couple I mean like 2 handfuls of 20. And this is growing up on dirt bikes and having a couple of crotch rockets, but being too big for a crotch rocket. This right here is the best combination I've been able to come across of like a dirt bike and a crotch rocket had a baby. You can hit a button on it, tighten up the suspension, loosen the suspension. I love this thing. 148 horsepower or something like that, 135, somewhere around there. Unmodified, it'll do 135 miles an hour. Look at that scenery. I'll try to get you a good view of some of this. I hope my camera is not covered in raindrops, but just have a look out in that direction. Just gorgeous. So we're actually going to go out and down and then back in, and we're going to be out there. If you had a chance to see that mountain range out there, we're going to be coming back in between that next mountain range. We've had a little bit of a wet winter, so things are nice and green. I did want to take an opportunity and come out here while it was still green, because this grass will brown up pretty quick. There's a couple more rides I'd like to film and show you guys, which is there's between here and Pinoche is a beautiful little road. It's got a lot of patchwork on it and everything, and it's a good adventure bike road. Again, you can take a Harley on it for sure. A little bit more comfortable if you have a suspension that has more travel in it. So if you have like a you know, a Dyna or something like that, rather than like a lowrider or something. It'd be more comfortable if you had a couple inches suspension travel to play with. That said, great roads out here. Beautiful time of year to come out here. If you're in the area and you're looking for an escape from the Bay Area and you just want to get out and ride some hills, these do tend to get a little warm during the summer. A little dry as well. Ooh, sheep. I was wondering what that was. Where did all they come from? Wow, there's a lot of them. The last time I came through, I don't remember seeing all these sheep out here. There's a whole bunch of them. Oh, the lambs. Cute. That's a lot of them. Very cool. Man, there's a lot of them. Yeah, there's a sheepdog. Little baby lambs out here with the other ones. So, I lived out here about 6 years, and I don't recall as many sheep out in an area as that, personally. Bit divey, so I'm going to switch from road to get back on Enduro Pro. Let go, come back, and now I'm loosened up a little bit to where before the rear suspension was very loose and it was diving back a little bit. What this has done is tightened up the rear and loosened up the front just a smidge, so it's shifted my weight to where when I bounce, it should bounce evenly up and down, whereas road tends to favor the driver comfort. But on a road like this, you really kind of want to loosen up the whole suspension, which is what I've just done. And then this little patchwork stuff doesn't even matter on this bike. On my Harley, it's it'll adjust your spine for you, but with this setup, not at all. Fox Creek Ranch. This is a beautiful little spot. I hear they do weddings and things out here. They have a little western town out there. They also board some horses, and from my understanding, they have a kind of an arena out here. I'm not aware of all the functions they do, but I'm sure if you were to Google Fox Creek Ranch, San Benito County, you could probably learn more about it. My impression is that it is privately owned. I don't know if they are still doing events. I knew a guy that was a property manager out here at one point. He said they used to do weddings and events. I'm not sure if they still do. That was pre-COVID. Coming up on the left over here is Thousand Trails. Kind of an RV camping area out in that direction, which I can't really get you out to it without having to go down through their guard shack, and it's a whole thing. You got to show your ID and your proof of insurance, and I'm not into wasting the time to pull out paperwork just to do a circle around and say, look, campers. But that's what that is. Landing strip. Here. routes, I would like to show you this one if you follow it all the way down, and I'll pick a sunnier day and I'll do a whole trip all the way down from here to Bitterwater, cut across over to King City, take 101 over to Greenfield, and then take Arroyo Seco Road up into the backside of Carmel Valley, which will look similar to this, but it'll cut from this mountain range over the 101 corridor into the Carmel Valley corridor, which is a little split canyon, and it's a lot of fun. It's a beautiful ride, great, amazing scenery. It's all farm country like this, and really beautiful ride. So I'll be doing a ride series here shortly of great places to ride if you're in San Benito County and you just want to have a nice ride experience and see some beautiful scenery. I'll keep this ride video short. That was the Cienega Loop. The remainder, just getting back out to Highway 25, is really just kind of a straight shot along a farm field, which is right here. So you can kind of see that mountain range right there. On the other side of it is 101, and then there's a little mountain range, and on the other side of that is the ocean. Then you've got this that we're cutting through right now, which is right back in that direction, is where the road that we just took is. And then this is that other valley. This is part of that San Benito Valley. And I'll show you here in just a second the next mountain range, which is going to kind of be the mountain range that separates this section from the I-5 corridor and the Central Valley of California. So that hill right there is the beginning of a series of hills that build up into the mountain range, if you want to call it that, that separate this valley from the I-5 corridor and the Central Valley. It's a series of rolling hills that do it, actually, so it's not fair to say that this is just this one and I-5's on the other side of it. It's a series of these undulations pushed up by plate tectonics and whatnot that cause this. And you'd have to go another, as the crow flies, 25 or 40 miles in that direction east in order to end up in the right spot, be on I-5. Then you have another mountain range, which is the Sierra Nevadas. That's where Fresno backs up against that whole mountain range that separates California from Nevada. For anybody who's not from California, that's why I'm saying this. If you're from California, you're like, why is he saying this? Well, that's why. There's a bunch of mountain range that you can check out and view and see beautiful things between here and there. There's a lot of cute little pockets that California has that are beautiful places to ride. And if you're not afraid of the little potholes in the roads and being a little off the beaten path, these are some amazing and beautiful rides out here. After I get around this corner and get back onto Highway 25 proper, I'm going to kill the camera just for a minute until I can get to Tres Pinos. And I'll turn the camera back on as we go through the town of Three Pines. Like my field of vision may have been pointed down too much, We'll find out. Worst comes to worst, I'll just reshoot the whole video. This is what it's all about. I don't have a napkin to wipe off the lens, but this is Piscinus out here. There's a beautiful road that goes out there towards Benoche, 32 miles out in that direction through a beautiful canyon. And if you're out around this time of year, what a great day to ride. Just a few sprinkles today, and really 57 degrees. You know, if you wanted to layer up and protect yourself, it's really easy to wear your protective clothing and not get overheated. You can wear your full leathers, you can wear whatever jacket, padding, kind of stuff that you want, and enjoy wearing your protection without having to worry about being overheated because of it. Pop this thing open just a little bit, see if I can lean down just a little bit. There we go. Try to get myself out of that wind. This windshield here only works to a certain degree, and if I sit up straight, I'm hitting a lot of it. And I think I had before done something to it where I have a way of adjusting that here in a second. Okay, nice little straightaway. Let's see if we can make that happen. Come on now, there we go. Something like that. Tighten that back down. There we go. That's a little better. Anyway, I'm going to be driving into some rain. I'm prepared for it. I've got the suit on. No big deal. Cows. One nice thing about if you do come out here, a lot of our weather, you can see it sitting down low over there, a lot of our weather comes in from the Monterey Bay and sort of scoops in right where Aromas, Prunedale, and Santa Cruz, kind of that whole thing. And we do get it scooped right up into Hollister. Now that said, you get back in these hills, you do get some shelter from that. So if you wanted to go for a ride, it looked like it was raining in Hollister, you can come back into these hills like I did, and you'll notice it's going to start raining a little harder as I get closer to that, because these hills have been pushing the clouds up a little bit. So as I get back into Hollister, it's probably going to hammer on me. But I've been through worse. And any day on a motorcycle is better than the best day in an office. This is San Benito Fairgrounds, otherwise known as Blotto Park. Our fairgrounds out here were home to the 1937 Gypsy Tour, which a lot of people used to come down Highway 1 at the time, which was a dirt road. Highway 101 didn't even exist then. On Indian motorcycles, they used to come out here to Blotto Park, and they used to participate in events and hill climbs and things like that. And about 10 years later, in 1947, a bunch of guys that were just out of the military basically got some Army surplus, we call them basket case Harleys. These were gentlemen who were veterans who had ridden in the war, and a lot of which just took advantage of the cheap and plentiful Harleys that were easy enough to work on. They showed up here to Blotto Park to participate in this event, but they were shunned from the event because the people at the event said, oh, well, you don't have the right gear, you don't have the right tires, whatever reason. They said you can't hang out here. And so they came down into Hollister for 4th of July to celebrate their independence and our freedom that they had fought for. And they were there in the downtown area celebrating for about a day and a half when the National Guard was called in because there was dancing in the streets. The subsequent story was blown up by the San Francisco Chronicle, and it made Life magazine. It was called Cyclist Holiday, and they used a guy who was a bus driver, put him on a motorcycle, made him look like, drunken debauchery had been going on and everything, and really kind of blew the event out of proportion. And it was the founding of a statement issued in 1960 by the American Motorcycle Association after a lot of exploitation movies had come out. The first of which was about this event called The Wild One with Marlon Brando and Lee Marvin. Welcome to Tres Pinos, by the way. This is the 19th hole. Really cool little steakhouse, aptly named because of its location along a route that people would push cattle. So initially you had people coming through this area, and that was the 19th watering hole, not the 19th hole where it comes to anything else, but the 19th watering hole is where this used to happen. So 19th hole, great spot, cute little town, Tres Pinos. You got this guy riding up my butt right now. Back to the story. So a scathing film, I wouldn't even call it a B movie, more of a D movie, a very low budget film called The Wild One with Marlon Brando and Lee Marvin, painted the bikers out to be ruffians that were just kind of like pirates, I guess. Just ran along making trouble everywhere they went, fighting, hooplawing, and whatever you want to call it, being ruffians back in the day. That movie inspired a series of other films which really kind of demonized bikers, and then in 1960 the American Motorcycle Association issued a statement saying 99% of bikers you meet are really nice people. It's just that 1% that gives us a bad name, which was lovingly adopted by the motorcycle, a lot of motorcycle clubs that were out there. So if you see those guys with 1% patches on, that is kind of an homage to the original statement put on by the American Motorcycle Association in 1960, saying, not all of us are bad people, it's just that 1%. So that was lovingly adopted by some of them as, yeah, I'll be your Huckleberry. So that's kind of where the history of Hollister kind of comes into being this bad boy biker town event thing, which is kind of where I got involved. I used to do security for this bar back in 2002 through 2017 until I bought the bar. Just flown in and just kind of keep the peace and help the bar manage itself during these rallies. And then I ended up becoming the custodian of this piece of American history thereafter. And that put me here in Hollister, California, where I do occasionally get out to enjoy these rides. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed my little dissertation and this beautiful area we call San Benito County. A lot of great rides around here, a lot of beautiful places to go. Between here and all the way down south of here, there's a bunch of beautiful rides just in San Benito County alone, as well as if you're to hop over to Monterey County, there's, going down towards Big Sur, there's going up towards Pigeon Point Lighthouse, and then going up Pescadero, up La Honda Road, up to Alice's Restaurant, Apple Jacks, and Head Flings, and those other cool spots, Ben Lomond, those beautiful areas that have great rides up around the pine trees along the coastal areas. Beautiful area to ride, and having lived in Hawaii and having driven across the United States and all the way up to Alaska, I do have to say that I'm lucky to live in an area with as many nice roads as this, where there are great, plentiful places to ride and stay out of traffic. That said, that brings us to a conclusion.